There's nothing greater than a period of isolation, because when you go off into your own cocoon, when you go off by yourself, right, there's some things that you begin to learn about you that you didn't even know. There's some things that want to come out of you that you've been keeping stuck. There's some things that want to emerge from your spirit and from your soul that never would have had the opportunity unless the world had been put on pause. Welcome to the DreamDivers podcast. This is the coaching show that is designed to help people just like you, people who know in their hearts that they were made to do something bigger, more purposeful, and legendary with their lives to impact the world. My name is Ira Davis, the Chief Dream Diver, and I am your dream development coach. On today's episode, I want to talk to you about the topic, after isolation comes elevation. Come on, I need you to hear what I just said. After isolation comes elevation. Now listen, I know it's chaotic all over the world right now, but if you are blessed enough to be healthy and to be stuck in quarantine on the inside of your house for a few days, you have an incredible opportunity. Like, what are you saying, Ira? What are you saying? I feel like I'm stuck in isolation. And what I want you to understand is the isolation is the opportunity of a lifetime. Listen, over the last couple of days, I've been doing some research on caterpillars and butterflies, and I found out that the only difference between the caterpillar and the butterfly is the period of isolation. Come on, I need you to hear what I just said. The only difference between a crawling caterpillar and keeping it from becoming a flying butterfly is the isolation period where it enters its cocoon. Inside of the cocoon, inside of the isolation, the caterpillar is going under a massive transformation called metamorphosis, right? This is the period, right, that can take between 5 to 21 days, depending on the species, right? 5 to 21 days, right? 30-day quarantine, isolation. Does that sound familiar, right? But when the isolation period is over, the caterpillar emerges as an unrecognizable creation that is equipped to do what it couldn't do before the isolation period. Come on, I need you to understand what I'm trying to tell you, right? When the caterpillar, right, who spent its entire existence crawling on the ground, now goes into isolation and goes through that period of metamorphosis, it emerges as somebody who could do what it couldn't do before it was cut off from the rest of the world. I need somebody to hear that today, right? Some of you feel like you're in isolation. Some of you feel like you're cut off from the rest of the world, but I'm telling you right now, there's an opportunity in the isolation. It's in the isolation that the transformation can begin, right? I need you to understand there's always an opportunity in every obstacle. I need you to understand that it is time for a metamorphosis. What are you saying, Ira? Right? What is a metamorphosis? It's that period of transformation where you go from one thing to another, where you go from one level to another level. I need you to hear me. I need you to get this deep down into your spirit, deep down into your soul, right? It's time during this period of isolation for you to look deep down within yourself, right? To ask yourself, hey, was I on track? And was I stepping into my purpose before this isolation period? Was I on track to fulfill my destiny? Or was my life prior to this quarantine? Was my life prior to this isolation, was it all about me? Was it all about just me and my family? Was it all about just surviving? Was it all about just paying my bills? Was it all about just going on vacations and making as much money as possible? Like, I'm excited right now, and hear me, I want you to understand what I'm saying. I'm excited not because of all the bad things that are happening around the world, and I want you to understand that we can't control, unless you're a scientist or a biologist or a chemist, we can't control what's happening on the outside, but I'm telling you right now, we can control what's happening on the inside. I'm talking about the inside of us, the inside of your mind, the inside of your heart, the inside of your spirit, the inside of your soul. I'm excited right now because in all things, even in the bad, I choose to see the opportunity for positivity. I choose to see the opportunity for hope. I choose to see the opportunity for growth. I choose to see the opportunity for change in all of us. So I'm excited because all over the world, I'm talking about all over the globe, in every country, in every nation right now, everyone is being forced to reevaluate their lives. Everyone is being forced to reevaluate who they are and what they were doing before we went into isolation. And I don't know what's going on in your life right now. I don't. And my heart goes out to everybody that's going through some tough times right now. But I'm excited because We have an opportunity in this isolation. We have an opportunity. We have nothing but space, an opportunity to emerge as something greater, as someone better, right? You have nothing but opportunity to take a pause and to take a deep look, a deep, long look at who you are now versus who you know you should be and who you could become after you emerge from this isolation period. I'm telling you right now that you have an opportunity of a lifetime to reinvent yourself, right? Some of you have been playing way too small. Like there's some big dreams on the inside of you. Like there's some big things that have been brewing in your spirit and in your soul. And before this isolation, before this quarantine, you were playing way too small. You were hiding behind your desk. You were hiding behind other people. You were waiting for the perfect time. There's no perfect time. But because of this isolation, you have the ability to emerge as something far greater. Some of you have been settling for a life that is less than what you were created for. Some of you have been settling for jobs and careers, and you have been taking side hustles and partnerships that were a distraction to the purpose and to the mandate for your life. Oh, but I'm telling you right now, in this isolation, in this period of cocooning, in this period of a metamorphosis, right? There is nothing that you tried to plan for yourself that's working like you thought it would. There's nothing that you had set aside for yourself over the next 5-10 years that you could have imagined that this was going to happen to the world. But I'm telling you right now, in this period of isolation, where everything is being cut off, where everything you thought would work is being taken away, is being stripped away, I'm telling you that this is the time for you to be refined. This is the time for you to get a makeover. This is time to discover who you really are and what you were really born to do to help the world. It's time to set aside society's definition of success, society's definition of winning, society's definition of achievement. And it's time to discover who you are and what your purpose is, what you were put on this earth to do. It's time to unlock your God-sized dream so you can serve the world in ways that no one ever thought would be possible. I'm telling you right now, during this time of isolation, it's not time to cry. It's not time to complain. It's not time to mope. It's time where you should be training for the world-changing future that awaits you. This time of isolation is not punishment, but it's time to refine your mindset. It's time to refine your spirit. It's time to refine your heart for the work of your soul. Somebody out there, come on, I'm talking to somebody. If you're listening, if you're watching, I want you to know that after isolation comes elevation. After isolation, when you go through that metamorphosis from one level to another level, when you allow what's on the inside of you to come on the outside of you, there can be elevation after the isolation, right? After this time of isolation, if you dig in and grab a hold of what could be and what should be in your life, you could come out of this thing as a brand new person. Come on, you can come out of this thing flying instead of crawling. You can come out of this period instead of walking, you can be running. Instead of having your feet on the ground, you could be dream diving. It's time for you to understand that after isolation, it comes elevation. You could emerge from what you think is a deficit as someone far greater than the person who went into this global lockdown. Come on, you can come out of this thing as someone who went in one person and came out another person. I want you to know that before any great athlete, before any great entrepreneur, before any great inventor goes and does something phenomenal, they go through a period of isolation where they have to cut off the outside world so they can grow and become who they were always supposed to be. There's a period where they have to cut off their friends, and they have to cut off the entertainment, and they have to cut off all the great things and the pleasures, right, for the sake of discipline, for the sake of growing, for the sake of transformation. Come on, metamorphosis, for the sake of letting the things that have been locked up on the inside of them come out. But if you have all these things surrounding you and clouding your judgment and clouding and taking up your time, you will never emerge as who you were always destined to become. So I need you to understand that in this isolation period, it's not punishment. Come on, it's not punishment for something that you may have done wrong, but this is an opportunity. This is a blessing in disguise. This is the time where you can shut out all the noise and shut out all the distractions so you can get to the nitty gritty of who you were created to be. So you can take a chill pill, so you can take a pause out and sit down and be with yourself. Be one with your spirit. Be one with the person who created you, with the one who gave you purpose, and so that he could begin to download the great things, the great plans that he has for your life that you could have never seen, because for many of you, you were going 100 miles an hour for all the right reasons, going in the wrong direction. Some of you were willing to jeopardize your future, your purpose for the sake of a paycheck. Some of you were willing to jeopardize the future of the greatness that's on the inside of you for the sake of being able to keep up with other people. people. I'm telling you right now, there is an opportunity in this isolation. And if you are willing to do the hard work in this down period, if you're willing to do the character work in this, if you're willing to do the mind work and the soul work, you can emerge as somebody who goes from isolation to elevation. But I'm telling you right now, you're going to have to dig in. You're going to have to do the hard work. You're going to have to put in the work to become the dream diver during this time period, during this time where there's nowhere to go and nowhere to be, right? There's no more excuses. Your calendar is no longer full, right? Your calendar no longer has any dates that need to be kept, right? Because we are in isolation. But I'm telling you right now, think about that caterpillar. If it would have never gone into that isolation period, that means it would have never had the opportunity to transform into the person, into the thing that it was always meant to be. And I'm telling you right now that if you did not have this isolation period, some of you would have stayed stuck. Some of you would have stayed stubborn. Some of you would have lost your life to the things that you thought was for you but weren't really for you. So I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna need you to see, I need you to look at this thing with a glass half full kind of a mentality, not glass half empty. I need you to be optimistic in this season. I need you to understand that there's nothing greater than a period of isolation, because when you go off into your own cocoon, when you go off by yourself, right, there's some things that you begin to learn about you that you didn't even know. There's some things that want to come out of you that you've been keeping stuck. There's some things that want to emerge from your spirit and from your soul that never would have had the opportunity unless the world had been put on pause. And I'm telling you right now, use this time in your life to go through a metamorphosis so that you can emerge as the dream diver, as the man or woman, the pioneer, the visionary, right? The world changer that you were always created to be. Thank you so much for watching this podcast. I hope it inspired you. Now, I need a huge favor. I need you, no matter what platform you're on, I need you to find that subscribe button, that like button. Leave us a great rating and a positive review. All of your comments, all of your reviews help us continue to make great content just for you.